YouTube world? My name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Okay, so today, it is Saturday. Well, technically, right now it's Tuesday, as I'm filming this. And in today's video, we will be talking about the next Sony animation film that I'm reviewing in this series, leading up to Vivo, and that is 2011 movie The Smurfs. Before we get into the review, I gotta say, I was a little bit excited for this film because honestly, it just looks like a movie that's a lot of fun, and the Smurfs look like just fun characters. And so yeah, let's just talk about, before we get into the review, if you know how my movie series work, then basically what I do is I talk about the film that came before that I have seen, and unfortunately I can't do that with this movie because technically I've actually been reviewing the first four. Technically have already reviewed the first three Dreamer Sony animation films. So, and this is the fourth one, so I'm actually on track with all of them. But I have seen most of the Sony animation films, so it's fine. But I will be doing a ranking of the four ones leading up to the Smurfs, and just to let you guys know. But with that said, let's kind of dive into this film and let's just talk about the movie, shall we? So I think the first thing you really gotta talk about with the Smurfs is that it really goes for what it is targeted for. It goes for what the Smurfs is all about. About these little creatures, well, these mythical creatures, that get stuck in New York and have to find their way back home. It copies that same plotline, and it's nice. It's good enough. And, you know, the characters, the Smurfs characters themselves that we are focused on here, to be honest, I thought they were cute and nice characters to enjoy. They have some nice voice actors, especially how they casted George Lopez to play Grumpy, and I honestly thought about that, and I thought it was, like, comedy gold. Also, I also really liked, you know, the whole, I also liked, to be honest, when I really look at it, the Smurfs feel like, more miniature versions of what the Seven Dwarfs are. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like it's telling a story about the Seven Dwarfs, and the Seven Dwarfs are the main characters. And also the live actors cast is of course great. And Gargamel is pretty funny. And even the cat, he gets some nice moments as well. And there's even a nice little moment at the end where he's like, I have some friends. I got some friends from home. And you just get all the Smurfs of the village, and they just team up on Gargamel, and it's just fun. There's also like a little scene where like they go to fight Gargamel, and it plays the song from the beginning of Iron Man, and I thought that was hilarious. I was like, bro, this is cheesy. This is cheesy for what type of film this is. And I kind of like how it explores the Smurf mythology of, like, you know, and I actually liked how it had, like, the Smurf comic book. That was hilarious. Well, I never read anything about the Smurfs. I've never grown up with the Smurfs, so technically, this film isn't really targeted for me. And there were a couple of moments I did laugh at. So, overall, this movie has some enjoyment to be had. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the bad, so let's get on to that. And I have to say this. Even though this movie is enjoyable, and it's fun, and it's funny, this movie is pretty bad. Like, there are a lot of cheesy stuff in this movie, and a lot of campy stuff, that I don't think stuff like this fits in live action. Like, it feels like Tom and Jerry, where there's specific plot lines, except they don't focus too much on the characters that they're based. And it's like, they don't really focus, granted they do focus on the Smurf plot line, but like they try to include the Smurf plot line in there, and it's like, it's very weird. I don't know what this film was. It like, the cat looks very weird. I think there were some CGI effects that I thought looked really cool, especially the way the blue moon looked, and the way Gargamel's spells looked. And, you know, it tries to make it, I feel like it tries to be too funny. It tries to be so funny, and then add some seriousness into it. And I just don't think that really works, because the Smurfs aren't like that at all. They're more sweet, loving, and goofy characters. I've never seen them as serious characters, especially with Papa Smurf. But overall, this is pretty bad. The story, the tone and story is really all over the place. So that's my thoughts on the Smurfs 2011. There is some enjoyment to be had, but at the same time there are a lot of bad stuff too. But I will say this, I wanted to say this in the good, but I had to say this for the bad. But this movie is bad, but it loops around to where it's fun again, and that's kind of a good thing about the film, is that it's so bad is that because people love the Smurfs, the way the color scheme looks and the way the characters are, it's fun to watch it. And I think that's a little bit fun to watch. So that's kind of why I'm not too negative on it, but still pretty bad. But before I give you my final score, be sure to tell me down below, what did you think about the Smurfs 2011? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you right there in between? Let's get some nice discussions going. With that said, let's get on with those scores. Alright, so that is it for the Smurfs 2011 review, but we're not done yet. We have one more decision, we have one more thing to do. Where does it end up in my Sony animation ranking up to the Smurfs? So I'm basically ranking the movies of Sony Animation up to the Smurfs. Like I did with my B-movie review, where I ranked all of them up to B-movie. That's how I'm doing it. And if you pay attention to all my scores, I'm ranking the movies by my letter scores, not by the enjoyment level, because enjoyment level counts, but not much. The letter grade mostly counts. But with that said, let's see where the Smurfs ends up. Alright, so that is my placement for the Smurfs at number 4. Unfortunately, it's not doing so well in that placement, but hopefully for the other Smurf movies that come in this series, hopefully it could get a little, those other movies could get a little bit higher. But overall, that is my ranking of the Sony Animation films up to the Smurfs. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram name is Marvel6. My TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't know what those names are, just head to my About section to understand those names better. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!